Hi, thanks for checking out our channel here. This is going to be a, hopefully we'll see, a test and repair video on this unit. This is a Gallagher high power Energizer model BEV2, BEV2. I don't remember what BEV stood for, and someone's nickname or whatever they gave to this unit, named after somebody, I'm not sure. But they made a BEV or a BEV in the 1970s. Probably up to the early 80s, probably. And the BEV2 came out in the early 80s, and it was around for a few years, and then they came out with the BEV3, which is just a precursor to the M800 that came out in 1990. The BEV3 was around from about 86 to about 89, and then the M800 came along in the 1990 all the way to 2005. So the BEV series was around for a long time. It came into the States in the 70s when Gallagher first came to the States back in the 70s. But let me see what the note says on this. Where'd the note go? Here it is. Oh, it says, doesn't send out full amount of electricity to the fence. Seems about half rate. So what's that mean? I don't know. So this design is, it's 40 something years old, and it was low impedance back then. Look, low impedance. I get people that sometimes will call or complain, "Oh, low impedance stuff. Hey, I don't like that new stuff." Low impedance been around for 50 years, not new. Not everybody was into low impedance back in the day. There was still some solid state and weed burner stuff floating around in the 70s and 80s. But low impedance came out. It came here in the States in the 70s when Gallagher showed up. I think Gallagher invented low impedance technology back in the 60s. So low impedance is nothing new. Now the way that people do it has changed and tweaked, but the idea behind it is all the same. Alright, this is an early version. You can see this transformer right here. This is a step-up transformer to convert our 110 volt to 220 volt. So this is a 220 volt transformer because Gallagher's a New Zealand company. Oh, look at this. 1982. So it is 42-year-old unit. And to look at it, it's got the original capacitor, which is always called a double hump capacitor, which is a 30 microfarad capacitor. It doesn't look like much else has been tweaked with it, but the sticker on there is starting to wear out. It had like some of the spec notes on there, like 4.5 kV under a load, under 500 load, 4.5 kV. These things peaked at around 6 to 6.5, 7 kV back in the day, which is about standard. Most brands kind of float between 6,000, 10,000 volts. I mean, they're all in that range. So, well, let's before we plug in, since we know based on the guy's notes, it says it does come on. It's just like half the energy coming out of it. So, my guess is probably the capacitor might be weak. I mean, it is 40 years old, 42 years old. It looks like it's never been changed. It's still hardwired and soldered. So we're going to check the capacitor. Well, reading 27 out of 30, which isn't bad, but with a being as old as it is, we will probably still change it. Now, the thing it could be, possibly, would be this transformer here. Could be weak or bad. And then we have this output board, which has some stuff on there that could keep it from being full power. Oh, what's this wire? Oh, that was just off the table from where I was working. So, alright, well let's just plug it in now since we kind of got an idea of what's going on with it. We'll get our analog fence tester out. My other one's on the battery charger right now. My fancier one. And it says not to. Oh, well, the only reason it could be half power because they're using the half power. Look at this. This has ground, half power, full power. The full power knob is gone. So that could be why it's getting half power, because they're only hooking onto that. So that could be an easy fix. We're probably still going to put a new capacitor in the thing because it's old. This power cord is so stiff, it's not very pliable anymore. Still in good shape though, no cracks in it. Alright, let's go from ground, hold on, tighten the knob up because I can't reach the head of the bolt. No, we'll try it. See, it's half power, see about 4,000 volts is normal for, that's with our full power. About 6,000 volts. So, so I think what we got a problem with is that knob's missing. The bolt's broke off, and they got a nut on there to keep it in place, but it's broken off there. So that's one reason why it's only getting half power. So let's fix that first. So that'll be a pretty easy fix. Let's nut and bolt stuff and loosen those up. Come on. Oh shit, there's a nut inside there too. Well, son of a gun. How am I supposed to get that off there? Okay, looks like we're going to have to take, I think the easiest way to do it, because there's a nut in between that's holding the board to the frame. There's a nut on the outside and the inside. So I think we got to take off all three of them. Socket here, it's not too bad. Let's take out all three of the nuts here. That slid right out of there. Not too bad. Never had to do this before to one of these. We don't get these in for repair very often since they haven't been built in 40 years. Gallagher themselves don't even touch these old ones. They just, there's no parts made for them. We could put a new capacitor, retrofit that in there. We can put a different transformer in there. There's not much we couldn't do to this thing. If this transformer went, which I've never had to replace one of those, we can find a conversion transformer or something like that to wire up inside. That wouldn't be too big of an ordeal. Alright. Now we're going to have to find a... got this bolt here, but it's way long. I mean, sure we cut that down the side, but we got to find a knob that'll fit it, because I don't think, that's too small. Now look, I don't know if I've got a bolt that'll fit this. I've got knobs like this. I mean, Gallagher used these knobs up until about, just about 20 years ago. No, the S17 was, and S22 was discontinued about 7 years ago. So they used these 40-some-year-old knobs from about the 70s all the way to about 5, 6, 7 years ago. So, and I think for a while, maybe today, you might still be able to get these. Yellow ones you don't really care much about, but the green and the red ones is one people usually need, because they'll lose them unless they're hot and ground. Not very many models had the half power, but some did. A lot of people never used it, but it was there just in case. Let me pause the video for a little bit. Let me do some sniffing around here and see what I've got that we can make work, because I can find a bolt that'll work. That's not a big deal. I just want to find a bolt where I can get a knob. I guess I could put the yellow knob on this one. That's what we'll do. Yeah, I'm not going to pause it. I'm going to take, because nobody hardly that I know of ever used a stupid half power, and what we'll do is we'll just plug that hole up with something, with some glue or something, and we'll block that hole up so that way bugs can't crawl in there and make their home inside the thing. And we're going to pull this out, put it up there. Alright, and then we'll make sure the bottom is a little loose. Let's tighten that up. And we'll put those in there, and then we'll put this spider washer, call that. Put that on there, and we'll put. Let's do it this way. Put the flat washer on first, smaller flat washer, and that spider lock washer, whatever the heck it is. Put that on there, then we'll tighten this up. Same thing on the bottom. Come on. I know that one. I'm going to start. That goes. Alright, this will be our fence. Actually, put the washers on there. See if we got any more washers, because usually there's 2 on each one. So let me put 2 large ones up there. Let me see if I got any other washers over here. No, but let's see. I've got a. Have some up here. Not too big. Now, for now, I'm just going to put one each one, and then I don't have any water. I got ones that have a lot bigger hole in the center of them, so it'll be really wobbling around on there. May not make a good connection and stuff, so leave that off there. We'll put the green one on the bottom. I'm going to get some glue stuff and plug that hole up there. Actually, he didn't really need, you only need, honestly, let me look at this again. I think you only need, yeah, you're only going to need one washer on each one. If you put it between the knob and the washer, this has got like a built-in washer. So once you tighten it up on here, that metal insert in this knob is threaded all the way through. So the whole threaded piece and this backing here is all one piece. And so if you put the wire between this and that washer, that's all you need. So we're going to put one washer on each one. That's all we need. Okay, let me get, oh shoot, here it is. Get some of this flex glue. Squirt a little bit out. Just plug the hole up with it. Squirt a little bit out the top so it doesn't cure on me. Harden up before next time I use it. Now about 24 hours, that glue there turns to about as hard as a rock. So I'll plug that hole up so bugs can't climb inside. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put a new capacitor in there. Let me find a, see if I can find a 30 that we can make work. Give me just a little bit here. I got 3 or 4 different 30 microfarad capacitors, but we're going to grab this one and put it in there. So, snip the zip tie off, because it's what we used back in the day to hold it in there. I think along with some tape. There's that. We're going to put a metal cable tie around the whole thing is what we're going to do. Alright, so now the only thing I don't know, or I can't, because I don't work, we don't get these in for repair that often, is which wire goes where, or which wire is tied together, which one's by itself. So it looks like the blue and the white are together and the brown one's by himself. So we'll do the same thing here, except we're going to use some spade connectors on there versus soldering. Ooh, excuse me. Yep, and just like I thought, there's a varnish on there. So we're going to have to strip that off. This one doesn't have a varnish on the wire. It's copper, but there's a coating on there, so if we just crimp on there, it's not going to be making a good connection. So we're going to take a knife and want to shave that varnish off there so we get to the actual nice shiny copper. You can see it gets darker there, shinier there. We got to shave that off there, get that coating off there. Okay, well now I need 3 female spade connectors. Crimp those on. So the white and the yellow, this doesn't actually matter which one goes where. So to keep the yellow and white one together, whether it's on the left or right, keep them together. And the brown one can go on the opposite side of wherever these ones are, but it can go on upper or lower. Because these two are tied together, these two are tied together. So it looks like yellow and white are together, and brown one's by himself. This unit was probably, back in the day, probably close to $300. And the replacement that would be comparable to this one today, probably the M800 or maybe the M560. The M800 is about $400 and the M560 is about you know, 250, 300. All right, so we'll get that. Might put 2 cable ties in there. Let's see. I use these nice stainless steel ones. Is why I like to use to strap things in place, because the plastic ones over time will break. Dry rotted. Last thing I want is something like this flop around, being metal, touching something you shouldn't touch. So I think we'll need just 2. I'm going to put them a certain way, so I have this ratcheting tool that cinches it down. So we're going to go back here, and this threads up right there. Through like that. Alright, before I cinch it down, let's get this one in here as well. So if I need to adjust this position of this capacitor, I can. Come on. There it goes. Alright, so now we're going to slide this in like this. Right there. Start. That one. Cut the tails off. This thing ratchets it down and cuts the tail off at the same time for you whenever you push the lever down. Alright, with them being stainless steel, they won't rust, they won't break, and that thing is in there freaking in there tight. It ain't going nowhere, not anytime soon. Okay, let's do another test on it. Oh shit, finger rub that glue shit. Alright, so I'll put this back. I don't need that now. Right there, where the straps are. Voltage probably is not going to change too much. Well, about 6,000, right where it's supposed to be on this version. Let's see, just gonna spark this thing through. I think everything's held in with rivets on the back. Besides those 2 straps, all these are all rivets. So, nice hot shock. I've probably worked on the last 20 years of doing this, roughly. I've probably worked on probably 30 of these BEV2s and the old BEVs. I would say I've probably, out of those 30, we probably fixed 27 of them. if the board gets a little too far gone and we kind of run into an issue. Now, there's a trick I can do. I can convert this all to 110 volt, put a different board in here from a different brand or model, which we never thought about doing that, 10, 12 years ago. But we could do that now. But luckily the board doesn't go bad all that often. Occasionally lightning hit it, but typically these things run for years with no issues. Very old school unit. So, well, there you go. Slap the cover back on, put the screws in it, and call her a day. We'll probably put off the side, let it run for the rest of today and overnight, and come back tomorrow morning and still running. Will probably be good shape. Typically, Gallagher's either run or they don't. When you fix one, usually 99% of the time, you're good to go. You usually have to do any kind of burn-in test, stress. Do a load test and all that stuff. But typically, if you fix them and you plug them in or hook them to battery and it starts running again, the output voltage is all good and everything. We're supposed to be between no load and their standard test load, which is 500 ohm load, and then based on those spec sheets, then the unit's fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's ready to go back to work. There's one other test you could do, but that's not super common to have to do that test, so we don't do it unless it's on a specific one that is known with have a known issue. So, well, we will call this one done. Give the customer a call; they'll be thrilled. So we got a new capacitor in there. We fixed up that half power, full power deal, which was just the bolt had been broken off, and hook it to half power, which is half the output. I will get a marker. No, I don't want to. I'm gonna treat it like an old car. I don't want to ride on it and whatever. But look at this thing, 42 years old, and the plastic is still in good shape. So wherever they got this installed at, it's in a good spot. It's because the sun hasn't beat the crap out of it. Age really hasn't made it look. It has some scuff marks on it, but this. If you're a collector of this type of stuff, this would be like, out of a 10, this would be like a 7 or an 8. This would be really nice. Not brand new looking, of course, but for being 42 years old and been used off and on since then, pretty good looking old unit. Well, thanks for checking out our channel here. Another one of our videos, another unit completed. Like and subscribe. Ask questions, comments down below. Until next time, see you guys later on.